What if the real villain of Shark Tale wasn't the gold-digging lionfish, but the system that taught her the only path to power was through someone else's success? Today we're examining how Lola's ambition is no different from Oscar's, and why The Reef, and the film itself, judges female desire for power far more harshly than male hustle. Shark Tale follows Oscar, a small fish working a dead-end job at the whale wash, who stumbles into fame after taking credit for accidentally killing a shark. He teams up with Lenny, a vegetarian shark hiding from his mob boss father, to stage fights that cement Oscar's fraudulent reputation. As his celebrity grows, Oscar attracts Lola, a glamorous lionfish drawn to his status, while pushing away his best friend Angie, who loved him before fame. When the truth unravels, Oscar confesses and chooses Angie over Lola, returning to the whale wash as a changed fish who now values integrity over status. What's even more interesting is that Oscar and Lola are mirror images, both desperate to escape their circumstances through fame and wealth. Oscar scrubs whale tongues and fantasizes about penthouse apartments. Lola uses her looks and charm to access the same world, yet the narrative frames these pursuits completely differently. Oscar's ambition makes him relatable, sympathetic, even likable at his worst. Lola wants the exact same things and gets branded a villain for it. The Reef operates on transactional relationships at every level. Sykes doesn't care about Oscar until he becomes the shark slayer. The city doesn't respect Oscar until he has fame. Even Angie gave Oscar her grandmother's pearl to help him climb out of debt, an investment in his potential. Everyone in this capitalist ecosystem is using everyone else to get ahead. Lola just refuses to pretend otherwise. She tells Oscar exactly what she wants: the lifestyle, the status, the top of the reef. Compare that to Oscar, who builds an entire identity on a lie, manipulates Lenny into staged fights, and lets the whole reef believe a fantasy he knows is false. Lola's crime isn't dishonesty. It's being a woman who states her ambitions out loud. The film wants us to see Lola's sexuality as proof of her moral bankruptcy, but seduction is just her available tool in a world that values her for appearance. The movie designed her to be visually stunning. Angelina Jolie's features, form-fitting clothes, that signature hair flip, even her introduction, with Ludacris's gold digger playing, telegraphs that we're supposed to judge her. But using attractiveness to access power isn't inherently worse than using lies, manipulation, or violence. All tactics Oscar employs without the same moral condemnation. Lola works with what the system values in her. Oscar works with what the system values in him. The difference is, the movie frames his hustle as understandable desperation and her hustle as predatory calculation. The film positions Lola's desire for wealth as somehow more superficial than Oscar's identical desire. Both want penthouses, luxury, and recognition. Both pursue status over substance. But because Lola attaches herself to Oscar's fame rather than fabricating her own lie, she's labeled a gold digger. The term itself reveals the double standard. There's no equivalent insult for men who chase wealth and status. Oscar isn't called a clout chaser, even though that's precisely what he is. He's just ambitious. Lola does the same thing and becomes the cautionary tale, the wrong choice, the shallow woman Oscar needs to reject to prove he's grown. By the film's end, Oscar gets redemption, community acceptance, a successful business, and Angie's love. Lola gets dumped and humiliated. Last seen with Crazy Joe in what's framed as a joke, the gold digger getting what she deserves. The movie never gives Lola vulnerability, growth, or complexity. She exists only to represent everything Oscar needs to move past. Even Angelina Jolie described Lola as everything that is wrong with women, a depressing framework for a character whose only real fault is being honest about wanting the same things the male protagonist wants. This punishment reveals how deeply the film fears female ambition that doesn't apologize for itself. Angie gets rewarded because she loved Oscar when he was nobody, because her worth is tied to emotional labor and unconditional support. She's the good woman who makes Oscar better. Lola is the bad woman who wants Oscar to make her life better, as if that's a moral failure rather than a practical response to living in a world where your access to resources depends on proximity to power. What makes Shark Tale's treatment of Lola so frustrating is how clearly it illuminates Hollywood's ongoing double standard around ambition. Male characters can lie, cheat, manipulate, and betray, and if they learn a lesson by the end, they're redeemed. Female characters who pursue power, even honestly, are punished. Oscar's deception nearly starts a war, destroys community trust, and exploits his best friend's grief, yet he gets forgiveness and growth. Lola states her desires plainly, hurts no one, and gets written off as the villain. The film accidentally exposes its own hypocrisy in how it handles both characters' relationships with truth. Oscar lies to everyone: Sykes, Angie, the entire reef, even Lenny at first. His dishonesty is the source of every major conflict. Lola never lies to Oscar. She tells him exactly what she's interested in, upfront about being attracted to his fame and what it can provide. In a movie supposedly about the importance of honesty, the honest character gets punished while the liar gets redeemed. That's not a moral arc, that's a gender bias. Lola's real transgression isn't gold digging. It's refusing to perform the emotional labor of pretending her attraction is about anything other than what Oscar represents. Angie loves Oscar for who he really is, which the movie frames as pure and good. But Angie also wants Oscar to succeed, pushes him toward his dreams, and gives him her most valuable possession to help him get ahead. The difference isn't the transaction, it's the performance of selflessness. Lola skips the performance and gets condemned for honesty. So yes, Lola wanted Oscar's fame and the life it could provide, but that's exactly what Oscar wanted too, and he lied to an entire city to get it. The real difference isn't their ambition or their methods. It's that the movie and the world it reflects can't accept a woman who's honest about her desire for power. This is Ladies First, watching women in movies. Here, we empower women by reviewing and discussing films that highlight their stories, struggles, and achievements. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.